Yo, 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 yo. What's going on? Hey, yo. How's it going? Hello. Hello, hello. What's up, Jake? Jake, Ed, Mo, Michael, Jason, Sebastian. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Cheers. How's it going? XRP number 1. XRP to the moon. Good morning. What am I missing? Oh, right. My protection. My eye protection. My eyewear. What is going on? KFN. What's going on with you guys? How's it going? Good morning. Cheers. Welcome back. What's up? What's up? Monday. Good times. XRP beefing up legal team? What is happening? What's happening with that? I came on late today. Pew, 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 pew. I came on late today because I was finishing editing a sweet vid. A real sweet vid for you guys. And I was about to post it, and I thought, I'll just wait. I'll post it right after this. And it's a little bit more lighthearted. It's just a fun video I did. And we got some serious videos coming out later. So, it's exciting times. It's exciting times. They're playing with us. They know it's not a security. We're going to talk about that today. I have some ideas. I know people are all throwing out a lot of ideas about a rivalry or a tribalism, different camps, maybe people in Coinbase being like, we don't like XRP. But I already suggested in my video, I think that they're waiting to use XRP as possibly a catalyst for shareholders to bring value to their platform once they go public. So they're using XRP as like their ace in the sleeve. And pretty much the reality is that they know XRP is a really strong move, and they're waiting to gift that to their shareholders. That's right. Clownbase is right. The shareholders deserve the gains after they go public, basically. So that's what they're doing. They're waiting to list XRP to benefit their shareholders. That's what I think. I don't think that there's a war going on. I heard some people saying like, oh, they're just afraid of listing XRP because they don't want it to take #1 position. I don't think they care. They're an exchange. They're happy to sell any coin. Can XRP go on NASDAQ if listed as a security? Yeah, it could, but I think we're going to see it go the other way. There's a lot of stuff that I think is happening with XRP and security regulation. I think it would go the other way. I think, if anything, they'd tokenize securities using NASDAQ technology, but I don't think, let's go into it. We'll go into it. It's going to be good stuff. I have a little surprise for you, a little excerpt from my video that I just finished. This is a little excerpt for you guys. That's an excerpt from the video that we just did. So hopefully, breaking news time. Breaking news time. Still figuring out how to get all these on hotkeys. Ripple beefing up its security team. Ripple beefing up its security team. What does that really mean? What does that really mean? Thinking about the SEC and XRP and what's happening with this article just basically kind of ties everything together. They're talking about Ripple's beefing up their team. They're going to the federal court now instead of the local court. I believe it was pushed up to a federal court, and that's pretty much. You like that? You like that? You like that bear one? I got another one. If you like that one, you might like this one more. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team fucking here. Started from the bottom. That's right. That's right. If you guys get to see these early, see those cut-ins early. So that's a little highlight of what's coming out later. That's right. That's right. That's right. You guys got a highlight of what's happening later on the vids. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's probably the best two. That's the best two edits from the video. I thought I'd share them with you guys. This early morning live stream crew. You guys deserve it. You guys deserve it. You guys deserve to see those and see what's happening. So here we are. Let's look at this. XRP pretty much is like the ace in the sleeve for Coinbase. That's the thing. They're saying ace in the sleeve. Coinbase is ace in the sleeve. XRP, etc., etc. But I don't know. I think that basically I see people all the time showing up and being like, you guys are so crazy. XRP is definitely a security. You definitely are going to lose money. They're going to list it as security. It's going to tank in price, etc. And I've said before, even if both those things happen, even if that is 100% true, that people go, that the SEC declares a security, let's say XRP dives, and then where are we? That's when I think, honestly, even if that happens, that's potentially when I think we'll see everything come together. Possibly the SEC looking for an ability to have some kind of control or regulation over XRP and giving them kind of like a gate in a sense to send XRP through for them to have any kind of control over it. I'm trying to like find the words to suggest what I'm saying. I could see them going back. I could see them making a call that XRP is a security just for a minute, it being fudded, them reappealing and it going back, and then it being not a security. And honestly, I feel like just because the SEC is only in the United States, that they're losing their soft power. So the Asia, Europe, India moving on XRP means that if the SEC to try to declare it a security, it would just be so that they could kind of like put their hands in it and mull with it, I think. And looking at how they could extend that type of regulation into XRP moving forward, if the SEC is only in the United States, that's when I think we start to see the possibilities of a global reserve or the IMF looking at like a global central monetary authority. And what that would mean moving forward, I could see there being a gray area where the SEC says like, well, we don't really know if it's a security or not, but we're going to declare it a security until we pass the torch to this other regulating authority, and they may change it. And I think that's possibly the reality of the situation, is that they basically don't know. Underdog, thank you so much, Underdog. I appreciate it. XRP to the moon. Did it not say XRP to the moon? I think I have a price limit. Underdog, I think. Thank you so much. First off, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. I think that in order for the text to speech to work, I think it has to be $2.01. FYI, in the future. I think I said it like under $2. I think it doesn't do the text to speech. So that's I can change that. I'll make it lower so that we can get $2 donations can get text as well. Because I wanted to hear it say XRP to the moon. I wanted to hear that text to speech. I wanted to hear it. You don't know about all that. Protocol, I understand that it seems like a lot. I understand it seems like a far-fetched to think like, well, what's happening? Mo says Congress stepping in soon to declare all cryptos as currencies. I think that honestly the government knows, the SEC knows that declaring the XRP as security would be damaging to the United States only. And the potential for that to be damaging to the United States means to me that they wouldn't move forward with that. I think that if anything, they do want to have some type of IMF or regulating body, but I think they know that the SEC doesn't have that authority. So there's probably going to be like kind of how when the net neutrality went forward, they made a vote, they passed a vote on net neutrality, and then they handed off the authority to someone else. They said, we made this vote, but now we're giving over the regulative authority to someone else. I could see that happening. I could see them saying like, well, it's a security, so we can regulate it, but we're handing over the regulation of securities to like some global authority, So, and then them going back and saying, well, now it's not a security, etc., and giving that opportunity, that moment, that that gray area where they declare it a security, but everyone knows it can't stay a security long term. Anyone that knows how it's going to work, they can't declare it a security long term. And what that means basically is that is when you see smart money move in, because people would let go of it. People would let go and be like, oh no, it's a security, it's going to drop. I've seen 100 people comment on my videos, stop talking about XRP. It's a security. It's going to go to 15 cents once the SEC says it's a security. And I almost agree with them, not because I don't like XRP, but because I think that smart money wants that low position buy-in. And I think that they're going to try to do their best to manipulate the market to make that happen for smart money, and looking at that buy-in happening basically to allow people to get the position they want, and then looking at the global authority or the SEC to pull back and say, actually, we're not the regulating authority. We're shifting this over to a global regulating body, such as a global IMF or something like that. And again, a lot of that's just speculation. A lot of that's just me looking at all this and saying, like, what would they do? Like, what works for people? What works for everyone? Why would they be in this position in the first place where they're holding up? We know that Ripple Labs is an American-based software company. We know that, you know, a lot of, you know that they're going to want XRP to do well. You know, like, who wouldn't want XRP to do well? Maybe they don't see it tied enough to the States. Maybe they don't see crypto tied enough to anything, so they basically have, you know, they're still demonizing cryptos in general. There's a lot going on there, and I think that these court cases are really interesting because, look, the first one was filed, and we've covered this before. The first one was filed for $500. The first one's filed for $500. So is this really even about the money? Is this really just about getting the courts to decide and getting clarity so we can just move forward with our lives? Again, looking at the reality that financial institutions move slowly. They move very slowly. I had someone, I think, comment the other day and say, like, I've worked with financial institutions for years. They move very slow. They're not going to do anything until they absolutely have to. And, you know, honestly, I know a lot of us we're such early adopters that it's people. I saw someone the other day. They were like, I'm quitting. Someone commented the other day. They're like, I'm done. I give up. I can't hold on anymore. They were like, all good news for XRP, and price still drops. And that's, you got to think, like, that's when Warren Buffett would have bought more. Like, imagine if Warren Buffett was in his 20s and he was looking at this and he was like, like, every time people let go and it drops lower, he would have bought so much more. He really would have bought so much more. In his current frame, I know in his current mindset, he's publicly saying he's not supporting cryptos, but I think I found some links to Berkshire Hathaway actually buying and having controlling interest in a company that has interest in XRP. So we'll put that together and tie it into a video for you guys real soon. What if, David Heinrich says, what if Ripple asking the SEC to hold off on announcing, couple that with Coinbase, etc., then cascade all the news once XRP goes live to pump the liquidity of XRP? Couple that with Coinbase, etc. So you're saying that it's this is the bottom. You're saying we're not going anymore. You're saying we're not going any lower. You're saying they're getting ready to pump us. You're saying moonshot in range is what you're saying. Hodl both. We are even smarter. That's true. That's true. We are. This group right here is the elite of the elite. The powers that be are going to hit us with the okie dokie. Is that like the hokey pokey? Are the powers that be going to hit us with the hokey pokey okie dokie? I'd love to see it. It's time to give Ripple and XRP separation. Plain sight. XRP not at Ripple. They are not the same thing. XRP can literally speed up the process of the entire world. That's right, Kevin, it can. Production, projects, all sorts of things can be accomplished. If Ripple booms, the world booms, technology booms, my wallet too. Yes. Yes, and yes. I agree. What's up, Mr. Pace? How's it going? Ralph, that's a good comment. Ralph, I agree. Vikums, hello. How are you from Singapore? SBI will be live any moment. That's true. Looking at like 2 days, I think, for it to be live, for password to be sent out, and then I think 4 days for it to actually be open live. Don't despair when you count to 10. Yes, I've heard a bunch of these riddles. I did not include very many riddles in my video. I just did a video about Bearable Guy. If you couldn't tell from my clip-ins. Just did a video about Bearable Guy. This is one of the edits. Obviously, one of the best edits on YouTube. but I didn't cover a lot of the riddles. I just kind of like went to town. I just had some fun with it. I like Bearable Guy. Him and I, we cool. We got a thing. So, Ripple looking at trying to prep for this lawsuit. What does it even matter? Do we need the SEC? Is this relevant at all? So, there you go. That's about it. That's about it for the beefing up security news. We got a lot of other Ripple things and Ripple news to look at, and we're going to talk more about the SEC at the end. But let's look at some other stuff really quick. No robot voice. Yeah, where'd the robot voice go? Is my sound just turned down? It might be my sound. I don't know. Sorry about that. Eve, thank you so much. I didn't say thank you. Eve, thank you so much. Exterminate, exterminate, exterminate. I'll do the robot voice. Exterminate, exterminate, exterminate. I have the robot voice still set to work. I believe it should be working. I might have had the volume turned down. It is set to be, I think, above $2 for it to work for the donation. But thank you. Thank you, Eve, so much. I appreciate it. Cheers. It means a lot to have your support. Yo, yo, Jonathan, how's it going? XLM number 2, your main investment is XRP. Kung Fu, you think Bear's prediction will bang? That's actually what the video is about. So I'm going to let you watch that. I'm going to let you watch it later. I'll drop it like right after this. I'll drop that video. It's called Why XRP 589. It's called Why XRP 589. That's the name of the video. It's all about it. It's all about it. So we'll talk about the SEC and XRP some more at the end of the video, but this article says XRP security controversy is not its biggest issue. Not its biggest issue. That's interesting. Okay. So what is the biggest issue? What is the biggest issue that XRP has? If you looked at yesterday's video, apparently the biggest issue XRP has is that we don't have enough memes. I saw some of you guys made some memes and posted it in my subreddit. The subreddit is Kung Fu Nerd. That's right, we're doing meme review for videos, and every Saturday, the best meme of the week wins XRP. That's right, I'm paying you to make memes. That's what the game is now. And when you win the meme challenge, you get to pick someone to send XRP to. So, the idea is you make memes. It informs the world about how cool XRP is with some sassy, smart satire and humor, and then I reward you and pay you in XRP. Prodigal's first question. How many XRP? How many XRP do I win with the meme review? It's a good question. I think we're going to start at 10. We're going to start at 10 XRP.
HODL.
There you go. I turned the volume up. HODL. Willem, thank you so much. Eve, I'm sorry I had the volume turned down for yours. And the first super chatter as well. You are Underdog. Yours might have actually worked too. The $2 donation might have worked because I had the volume turned down. Sorry about that. Willem, thank you so much. I appreciate the £5. It means a lot. And I appreciate your support. So, what were we thinking about with the XRP memes? That's right, XRP meme review. How many do you win? Right now we're doing 10. So you could win 10 XRP every Saturday if you're the #1 memer. And then we'll pick some runner-ups and they'll get like 1 XRP, 2 XRP, etc. So, and then you get to pick, when you win, you get to pick someone to send XRP to. We sent XRP to Serena Williams last Saturday. We sent XRP to, I think, Kylie Jenner and somebody else, Mark Cuban. We sent some to Mark Cuban. That's right. And it went well. It went well. I usually say, hey-o, you won the XRP community contest. And here's some XRP. So what does XRP need to do? Because obviously security controversy is not their biggest issue, says this article. What is their biggest issue? This article doesn't really specify what they think the biggest issue is. They say that there's a lot of possibilities for XRP's future. They do talk about how Ripple Labs doesn't own the XRP ledger, and they go into talking about how it's a difficult task because the two have been associated ever since the XRP token was launched, so it's difficult to de-associate the two. And that's you know, that's true. It is very true. And I still see people talking about, like, you see articles like this one, and even the article I referenced and covered, it was like Ripple XRP tries to take 50% of the banks in India, and you know, XRP is probably not part of that headline. The reality of that headline would be Ripple Labs tries to develop partnerships with banks in India, but because they want to get the XRP clicks, they put XRP in there. And so you can see this is kind of an issue with the idea of media in general. I'm not going to say it's fake news, but the news outlets aren't really helping us by continually pairing Ripple and XRP together. I even did it in my video. I even did it because that was the title's headline. So 10 XRP equals 200K. That's right, I'm paying you 200K every Saturday. No big deal. You know, only $1/5 million. $1/5 So they're saying the security controversy is not the biggest issue for XRP, and you know, is that true? Is that something we can respect? I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I do know that the security issue is not that big a deal, but I don't know if they reference any actual any other issues. Ripple still has time for comeback. I don't really like that they're suggesting it didn't. When did it not have time for comeback? Large hopes for XRP, and then everything changed. I don't think much has changed. Let's see what it says. So after it reached its all-time high price of $3.40, it quickly fell to 18 cents as soon as the crypto prices dropped at the beginning of the year. I don't think it was like that. It didn't go from 3.40 to 18 cents, did it? Come on now. Come on now. Some believe Ripple will beat its former top price. And again, just calling it Ripple here. Some believe Ripple will meet its top price as $10 per coin. They're not doing us any favors. They're confusing us. XRP, they should put XRP. You know, XRP will beat its former top price and maybe even go as high as $10 per coin. This is, of course, significantly lower than the predictions that Ripple's price will reach Bitcoins. However, even so, it could still be better than Ripple's 43 cents. So, good day, Mark. Cheers. How are you? Yeah, definitely, never really happy with Global Coin Report. Global Coin Report's always got some weird articles and some weird mashups of information. So, what exactly they're suggesting as far as it has a time to come back? That they're implying that there was a moment when it didn't have a time to come back. I don't agree. I don't agree at all. You don't believe it wouldn't touch those prices, but the end of this year, no chance. Hasmetic. I'm waiting for the text-to-speech. Oh, I guess, okay, yeah, so $2 is not going to do it. It's got to be 201, I guess. I was waiting for the text-to-speech to happen. Brad Garlinghouse's wink. Hasmetic, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Hasmetic in the house with a £2 donation. Brad Garlinghouse's wink. So there's a lot of speculation about who the Bearable guy is, if it's Brad Garlinghouse or David Schwartz. We didn't really cover that in the video that we did either. It's just kind of like a fun video. XRP users call for FINRA to probe Coinbase for possible price manipulation. Wow, that's interesting. Ripple community is not willing to let go of the fact that Coinbase excluded XRP from its possible listings. XRP investors have called for the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority to investigate the exchange for possible price manipulation. Interesting. Coinbase on Saturday had announced that it was exploring chances of adding Cardano, BAT, Zcash, Stellar, and 0x to its exchange. Soon after the announcement was made, all the mentioned coins saw their prices spike higher. XRP investor Pete Dakin on the same day appealed to the U.S. regulators to investigate the matter, claiming that the exchange could possibly be abusing its marketing power. Wow, that's really good call. Pete Dakin calling out for them to look into the possibility of them benefiting from their market manipulations, calling out things like, we're exploring the chances of adding these coins. Again, they did not say they're adding their coins. They did not give any definitive answers of why they would pick one or the other. They just said exploring chances of, and then dropped 5 coin names that the next day were all green. Interesting stuff. Juan, good morning. How are you? Will you buy in Coinbase IPO when available? I thought about this yesterday, and I was looking at some Netflix stock. And I was watching Netflix stock and looking at it, and Netflix stock took like a 3% dive yesterday. Right as, I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's part of the news. Might as well just bring it up here and look at it. I'll pretend like we brought it up, pretend like it's referenced in the background. AT&T just bought Time Warner. AT&T just finalized their acquisition of Time Warner Cable, and that includes HBO. So AT&T just bought HBO. I don't know if you saw this as well. YouTube TV just launched their YouTube cable. So YouTube cable is now live. You can pay for cable on YouTube without a box. Time Warner Cable and a lot of the other cable companies sinking, losing money fast. AT&T took advantage, acquired Time Warner. In that moment of acquisition, they also, one of the umbrellas or one of the subsidiaries of Time Warner is the HBO Broadcasting Network, and HBO Broadcasting Network being acquired by AT&T is interesting because if you look at that, then you start to look at like, well, what do they say? The first thing AT&T said to HBO was, we need you guys to step up your production. We need you guys to ramp up your production. We need you to compete with Netflix. So they're basically telling HBO, like, create more content, create more shows. The thing is that Netflix has been slowly scaling up their content for a while, right? And you're thinking like, all right, dude, I asked about the IPO of Coinbase. What are you talking about? Shh, wait, okay? So, yes, you think, all right, Netflix is huge. It took a while to grow here. HBO basically wants to just maintain being HBO. They're happy with what they're doing, but they were bought by AT&T. They were acquired. AT&T tells them, like, get to work, make more content. And basically, the idea here is that where are we headed? As of right now, Netflix is huge. As of right now, everyone's looking at Netflix like Netflix is doing it right. They created their own, they created their own department for developing content. They have their own production team now, and they're out making content. They're killing it. They're doing really good. They're releasing movies, all the things. Aloha, hello, XRP to the moon. And so, yeah, you think like, I was looking at this yesterday, and I was like, all right, XRP is, so underutilized. It's so under-recognized, so underappreciated. It's like Amazon back in the 90s. People don't even understand the potential yet of this growing technology, this innovative technology. And I'm looking at Netflix stock, and I'm thinking like, because someone asked me the other day in person, they directly asked me, hey, do you invest in stocks? And I was like, yeah, I do. That was actually one of the first things that brought me into crypto, was that I was bartending. Like 5 years ago, I was bartending, and I was thinking like, how am I going to stop working my day job? And I was like, well, it looks real easy. The best way to really make money or pull ahead is to find emerging technologies and invest in them. So I just started playing with Robinhood. It was actually the first stock app I used was Robinhood back in the day. I was one of the first people on it. And I got on Robinhood, and I was just buying into little stocks that I could for zero commission. And it was really exciting. I was excited about it. I was looking for emerging tech companies. And honestly, looking at like Netflix and how fast they're growing, you're thinking like Netflix is unstoppable. But there's a threshold. There's a peak, right? There's a peak that's going to happen. So looking at what is the threat to Netflix. And I know, like you're thinking like, well, I asked about the IPO for Coinbase. And so possibly, yes, stocks are still good investments. Possibly, yes, there's a lot of stocks that are solid investments, but probably not a stock that is going to be threatened by this emerging technology. So I would probably not invest in anything that could be replaced by blockchain, like any digital content delivery service. In 10 years, XRP might not be dominating. XRP might be peaking not XRP, Netflix. I'm so sorry. I said XRP. I'm like reading you guys' texts and trying to talk to you. Netflix might be peaking right now. Netflix might be peaking in the next year or two, next 3 years, and then we'll see the emergence of other technology that would threaten it. And what that would be is a decentralized content delivery system. And I was watching I keep saying this. I edited Stefan Thomas. Talking about Codius, and it's like a really dry lecture, and I just put the slides up behind him, and I was going to post it so I can continually reference it in my videos, and I keep referencing it without posting it. So I'll post that later today too. But Looking at Stefan Thomas talking about Codius, and he's talking about the possibility for Codius and XRP to basically be a content delivery network, and it could do it very well. So, yeah, I might consider buying a public share of an emerging company if they have a possible long-term use case. You know, like Coinbase. Maybe I'd be interested in public shares of Coinbase. I probably would still be interested in public shares of Netflix or any of the other companies like that, as long as they have a possible long utility, right? A possible long-term utility, and they're not going to be swallowed or eaten up by blockchain technology and emerging digital technology. So yes, a long answer to would I be interested in Coinbase IPO. I would make sure to look at what I'm investing in for stocks does not have a use case in XRP and Codius, because that could be a real detrimental blow to any company that's building their services around something that could be replicated for easier, for cheaper and faster. I know, it was a long one, but looking at this, calling out for them to look into Coinbase as having possibly some issues with their market power, abusing their market power, if they benefited and sold because of their runs, etc., etc. I thought that was interesting to look at. So the XRP users calling for FINRA to probe Coinbase, and it could backfire. The whole thing could backfire. Them trying to wait and not list XRP until they go public. Honestly, Coinbase could just be out. Like, they could lose a lot of their market to some other big companies. Goldman Sachs, or Polynex is Goldman Sachs, etc. So what else is happening in the news today? So that's pretty much, we're doing all the XRP news first, and then we're going to run through some other updates, and we can chat about it at the end. Here's how the listing of Stellar on Coinbase will pave the way for an XRP listing. This article, again, I don't even know. I'm going to stop probably putting Global Coin Report articles on here, because it just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm going to wait for the robot to read it. I don't know why the delay is so long. Coinbase will crash and burn, says Joel.
I have your bearable guy. If you ever want to see him again, send me 1 billion XRP.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Underdog. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support, and I love your comment. It's very well done. Very well done. I don't know why that time. I need to remove the wait, I guess. It's a long wait, but I have your bearable guy. If you ever want to see him again, send 1 billion XRP. $1 billion. Yo, what's up, KK? Hey, how's it going? How's it going? How are you today? So yeah, the Stellar on Coinbase is going to pave the way for XRP? No, I don't think so. I think Coinbase is just waiting to list XRP to benefit their shareholders. This is interesting. SA Purple Group confirms adding cryptos to its online trading platform. South African financial company Purple Group confirmed to adding 2 cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Bitcoin and Ethereum being added to Purple Group, a South African financial service provider listed on the JSE. They added cryptocurrencies to its online trading platform. And you can see that they have the right to do that because Ethereum and Bitcoin have been cleared of not being a security. Good stuff. Good stuff right there. Could Coinbase be in hot soup for not listing XRP? Honestly, I just put this on here because it referenced the same idea that basically the same guy, Pete. Apparently, if you have a really strong tweet in crypto, you can just get referenced in like 4 different articles. So Pete Dakin getting some references by calling out to FINRA and saying, "Can you investigate Coinbase for us, please? Please investigate Coinbase." Calvin, South Africa, represent. That's right. That's right. Bitcoin is great for criminals, better for law enforcement. Interesting. Bitcoin's tried and convicted in the court of public opinion. We can see this is very simple, cut and dry. The bigger the front, the bigger the back. If it has a strong use case and it's powerful, it's paradoxically dangerous and beneficial at the same time. Good for criminals, better for law enforcement. It's pretty basic run through there. Crypto market keeps building momentum. Bitcoin inches towards 6.4. I know everyone's cheering that we've made it somewhere, but we haven't even crossed the 300 billion yet. We haven't crossed 300 billion market cap, and BTC dominance still at 42.4%. And I know we're headed towards 6.7, and everything's paired to BTC. XRP's up to almost 47 cents. Ethereum's back almost to $500. But looking at the strongest runs inside the day, I'm putting 10x and Kin in the top two, and the biggest dips, we got VeChain and KuCoin shares in the biggest drops. So looking at by volume, Tether's obviously right up there under Bitcoin. Bitcoin number 1 in volume, Tether number 2 in volume. Then you got Ethereum, EOS, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and XRP finally taking back its spot from Ethereum Classic and Tron in volume. No doubt they would. It's not the biggest deal if they don't. But look at the volume indicators for these coins, and any coins that stand out. You can always look down the list and see if any coins have hit like a huge run in volume. That's what actually pulled Mainframe to my attention. Was that they had a huge, their volume was up here in like the top 10 out of nowhere. So that was pretty exciting. What up, what up, what up? How are you guys over? What are we talking about? Abra is going to be dropping more coins sometime soon. Yeah, Abra just launched the fiat and credit card crypto pairing, so you can actually buy up to $20,000 worth on the Abra app now, is what I think it said. $20,000 worth. That's pretty good. It's a lot. Australian firms partner to provide crypto custody services. So custodial services for crypto from the Australian advisory firm specializing in blockchain assets called Decentralized Capital. Decentralized Capital and custodian vaults partner to provide cryptocurrency custody services. Honestly, just another stepping stone on the path to XRP domination, to crypto domination. The founder of Decentralized Capital stated that the new vault provides customers with direct access to their holdings and combined physical surveillance, biometric identification, PIN codes, closed-circuit television monitoring, alarm, and fire control systems. Additionally, the vault premises also a private Wi-Fi room to allow cryptocurrency transfers in and out. That's kind of cool. Very exciting, actually. So you can see that people are taking this seriously, and they're developing the infrastructure to support this technological change. Have you tried Blockchain 5.0 yet? Nobody has. Nobody has. Over the past few years, the buzzwords of blockchain technology have been tied to literally every industry under the sun. Cryptocurrency has a wild year in 2017. It seems that during the time, distributed ledger technologies made it all the way to Blockchain 5.0 era. But there's a problem. No one reporting on these projects has tried these networks. And Blockchain 5.0 DLTs, the ultimate snake oil. That's funny. So you can see a lot of 80% of ICOs being scams, 80 to 90% of ICOs failing. There's a lot of issues, obviously, with just saying blockchain, just throwing it out there and expecting money to come at you. This is a good example right here. R3 Corda is not a blockchain, and we didn't say it was. Yeah, they did. Actually, they did say it was. And this is another thing. You can see companies, we referenced this before, stock companies in the past saying, or some, I think, technology companies saying, oh, we are a blockchain company now. They got a huge bolster or boost from new shareholders, and then 3 months later, there was no return on investment. And the shareholders actually turned around and sued that company for changing their name to blockchain something. So there are repercussions for this bad behavior, for this poor behavior. Blockchain immutability. Immutability. Why governance is the greatest problem for blockchains to solve. And I suggested this in a tweet the other day. I said, have we been given the blueprint for a revolution in governance? Because that's really what a trustless system is. It's a revolution in governance. It's a revolution in consensus, right? So it gives us the ability to have governance and consensus in a way we've never had it before. So a quest for human consensus is no easy undertaking. and governance is a tough nut to crack. So these are big ideas. These are ideas that people have been playing with for years. You know, Plato talking about a just, true, beneficial society years ago, you know, thousands of years ago. So what are we looking at with governance and human consensus? We're looking at basically a paradigm shift. We're looking at a big shift. So that's exciting to see. We saw this yesterday as well, but I want to reference it again because I think it's a really big deal. Chile appeals court rules in favor of crypto exchange against a bank. So really strong here. Looking at basically the Chamber of Court Appeals of Santiago ruled in favor of an exchange for closing their banking account. Closing the banking account.
When we, the singularity, take over the world, we shall make Coinbase our personal slaves and feed them dog poop, ma ha 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 ha, pew 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 pew.
Pew 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 pew. Pew pew. I like the pew 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 the most. KK, thank you so much. KK, I appreciate it. It means a lot to have your support this morning. I appreciate your support. I really like your comment too. The best part of your comment is when we, the singularity, take over the world. Yes. Have you been studying Rocco's Basilisk? Have you been studying Rocco's Basilisk? Because that tweet makes sense. That tweet just makes sense. What's up? Good morning, Diane. How are you? Good morning. Yes. Yes, indeed. It's true. Pew pew. Coinbase better watch out. Coinbase better watch out for us. Looking at this as the possibility that banks could be punished, or at least they lost in this exchange in public courts, them trying to deny the Orion X access to their bank account. So that's really strong. That's really good. It's really good news. Russia has a registry of whitelisted crypto companies. So Russia, ahead of the game, whitelist of crypto firms. They launched a whitelist of about 50 companies on their list. That's pretty exciting. The On Digital Financial Assets legal framework for the regulation of cryptocurrencies and ICOs in Russia is still in the preparation stage. Basically looking at the new State Duma, there are several bills at once. There are very different approaches to the definition of crypto tokens. The central bank believes that cryptocurrencies and tokens now do have sufficient economic resources to function fully in economic circulation. Yes, yes, and yes. That's very strong, very good news. And possibly Russia looking at, oh, wait, this is an emerging technology. If we embrace it, it could be beneficial to us, similar as Malta has. Honestly, a pretty strong move. Honestly, a pretty strong move. You can see that, according to her, this head of State Durma's independent working group, that the Russian laws will be adopted after the Financial Action Task Force of money laundering standards are developed with respect to the risks of using crypto without the FATF policies, and it's difficult to adopt national legislation. The FATF draft document was expected to be considered in a session June 27th, 29th, but in the end it was postponed to September. So looking at them, honestly, making headway, making strong moves and making headway forward. I don't know why anybody else would not do this. Why would a government not do this? Why would they not try to encourage people to embrace this technology and build it on their shores? Seems very basic. And probably one of the bigger things to happen today, one of the biggest news that's not really too XRP related, is this BlackRock eyes Bitcoin futures. Market reacts to increased institutional interest. So we can see the world's largest ETF provider. That's pretty big, guys. The world's largest exchange-traded fund provider, BlackRock, announced the formation of a working group to assess potential involvement in Bitcoin, financial news reports. Now, the move furthers a U-turn on BlackRock's previously critical stance towards cryptocurrency. And you can see a lot of companies have taken the same initiative to turn around, a full turnaround, a 180 on their previously declared stance. Following in the footsteps of fellow giant Goldman Sachs, the cross-industry work group convened by BlackRock will, among other things, focus on whether the company should invest in Bitcoin futures. In general, the comments to FN, a spokeswoman from BlackRock said the company has been looking at blockchain for several years, but did not mention cryptocurrency. And you can see that, of course they are. Of course they are. And I think, obviously, we see a lot of private institutions moving towards developing blockchain technology and then realizing, like, oh, wait, David Schwartz has been doing this for 30 years. Maybe I can call him and ask him a few things. Like, hey, David, I'm having some trouble with the first line of code on my blockchain. And he's like, yeah, about that. So, of course they want to build their own. Of course it's going to be hard. Looking at who's been in the space for a while, who are pioneers of this industry, who's really built out technology that looks really strong and has been tying itself with partnerships to financial institutions. That's the reality of what's happening here. So, Goldman Sachs CEO Lloyd Blankfein reportedly told the media that Bitcoin is not for him before a sudden announcement that dedicated research team was looking at how Goldman could provide a range of cryptocurrency-based products. So you can see that in business, the reality is not if it's for me or not, is it if it makes me money or not. So it doesn't matter if Goldman Sachs CEO personally thinks that money is the devil. It doesn't matter. He's still trying to make money because that's his job. So he can hate cryptocurrencies as much as possible. If he thinks it's going to make his business money, then they will provide services for those products. It's very basic. BlackRock could well follow suit. And you know, what does it mean if you have BlackRock, the world's largest exchange-traded fund provider, announcing their initiative to head into crypto? What that is basically it's a big signal indicator to the rest of the world. If you're anyone in that space, in the fintech space, and you look up to the world's largest ETF provider, and if you like, oh man, did you hear BlackRock is doing this? That's an indicator for you that you better do the same. You better tie your shoes and start running that marathon like everyone else. So, you know, people on the sidelines that are still sitting there wondering like, hey guys, should we probably figure out what's happening with blockchain and how to use it and take part? This is a big indicator. It's a big, you know, smoke signal for them on the horizon. Like BlackRock, guys, did you hear BlackRock is getting into crypto? They're looking at providing products in crypto. Like, that's big news. You know, it might be just a headline in a news article to us. It might be just another reference to another random company that you don't know being interested in something that you pay attention to every day. But this is a huge indicator to people that have been hearing Bitcoin's a scam for years. And, you know, maybe the stepping stones they're going to go to, they're not going to go straight from Bitcoin's a scam to Bitcoin's not a scam. They're going to go from Bitcoin's a scam, but possibly we can make money on it. Okay, wait, maybe it's not a scam. And the same thing for a lot of other cryptos. It's the same idea for the psychological switch in your brain that's ready to be switched on or off. And it needs a really strong catalyst. It needs a really strong bundle of information to switch it once your decision's been made. So if you're all sitting around wondering like, yeah, no one's going to do anything with crypto, it's not going to last, and then, you know, you're a fintech industry and you're just sitting there reading the paper and then you're like, whoa, guys, did you hear BlackRock is going to offer products for Bitcoin and for other cryptocurrencies, et cetera, that's big. It's big news. And you cannot under-assess this. This is probably one of the biggest articles to come out today. For Monday, this is big news. So you can see in February of this year, the company already stated cryptocurrency options were under close review. BlackRock has just under $6.3 trillion in assets under management. $6.3 trillion in assets under their management. If that means, honestly, if 10% of their holdings went into crypto, and let's just say 10%, let's say 600 billion went into crypto all across the board, just they just splayed it across the board, and they hit BTC, ETH, and XRP. Let's say they did those top three with a 600 billion inflow right now. That would push XRP to $40 right there. Guaranteed right away. BlackRock, 10% of their assets pushed into crypto. Guaranteed $40 XRP right there. $600 billion inflow. Go do the math. The math's actually in the Bearable video that we're about to drop. But BlackRock, 10% of their assets pushed into crypto, $600 billion, that'd be $44 XRP. And what does it mean if XRP doesn't get any of that money? because BlackRock doesn't want to put money in something that's not a true crypto yet. I don't know. I don't know. So this is where we're going to talk back about the SEC and XRP and the global IMF, the global regulation system. I don't really have any news about this, but just think about what do they want? You know, like what would they want? What would the SEC gain? What could they gain? What would they want from looking at putting an authoritative body over cryptocurrencies? How would that work? What would that look like? They would probably have to introduce some type of standard, and looking at, you know, them working with Ripple Labs, them understanding the benefits of the ILP, the Interledger Protocol, looking at their partnerships with Asia and Europe and India, that the government, the United States government knows that they're losing their soft power moment by moment. So they need to move forward with this. I said this before, but I think the longer we wait, the less likely they'll declare it a security at all. I think that they could come out soon and say it's a security and then reposition and change it. But the longer they wait, the closer we get to the G20 summit, the less likely it is that the SEC will declare it a security at all. And then what that means is potentially it's just looking at how to pass the torch to a global regulatory body. And I think that's a lot of stuff has to be developed. A lot of stuff has to be partnered and discussed. And that could be a 5-year transition phase. It could be a 6-month transition phase. It could be an overnight. I have no idea. This is stuff that none of this has ever happened before. We've never had this happen before. We've never had all these analog systems trying to switch to a digital system and it being tied to geopolitical systems and it being tied to world currencies and being tied to global reserve currencies. So originally I thought that the G20 summit I thought was happening July 25th, but it's actually November 30th to December 1st. It is in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and it is the global summit of the world leaders. Also referencing our One World Currency video, we talked about this 30 years ago in 1988. The article suggests 2018 for the year of the global currency, something that they've been developing for years. It's obviously not a big public conversation because I don't think that they want to upset or scare people, but it's a reality. It's a reality they're looking for to develop a possible, a possible working standard. So I know that the SEC news is like really big, and people still comment on my videos every day. People comment on my videos, and they're like, "Dude, stop talking about XRP. The SEC is going to declare it a security, and it's going to tank, and then you're going to be real sorry." And no, I won't. I won't be sorry. The only thing that'll scare me is if the SEC says we're taking your XRP. That's the only thing that would terrify me. You know, like they can declare it whatever they want. They could declare it a spaceship if they want. And they could try to put like spaceship taxes on it. I don't know. I would still hold it. You know, like I would not be like, oh, I better just give it up because the SEC said it's a security. Like, not really a big concern of mine. I know a lot of people think that's a big issue. I know a lot of people think that that's going to be the end-all decision moving forward for XRP, and I don't think it is. I think that even if they did declare it a security, that they would pretty quickly turn around and redeclare it not a security after they gave it a little dip and let people buy into it, or after they figured out how to pass the regulatory body to a global IMF, a global monetary authority. Again, not really sure, because I think these are the discussions that they're having. I think these are the discussions that they're having inside closed rooms right now. And I agree. You know, Actor Aregulis is 100% correct. XRP will be successful no matter what. No matter what, XRP is super strong. Every single time I look at understanding the technology more, like I watched a debate yesterday between the CEO of Blockstream and Roger Ver, and just like honestly, side note, Bitcoin Cash has got to get rid of Roger Ver. Like, I honestly think Bitcoin Cash is not a scam. I think it's legit. I think that they're pretty cool and pretty smart for sticking to the integrity of the project. But Roger Ver does not do any favors for them. Roger Ver makes Bitcoin Cash look bad. Personally, that's just what I think. I think that the Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash split is a good A/B test. It's interesting to look at what's happening. If you look at the history of the development for Bitcoin, what happened when Blockstream came in and they decided to start trying to work towards removing small transactions, and they even publicly state that they don't think Bitcoin should be used for small to medium-sized transactions. and that's not very smart to me. They say that they do not value small transactions on the Bitcoin network, and Roger Ver is a maniac. Roger Ver is just a maniac. Like he's really knowledgeable and he has a lot of good points, but he's just a complete asshole. He's a complete maniac, and he just makes it look. He just fucking makes it look horrible. And like watching the interview yesterday, he would not stop interrupting the CEO of Blockstream. And like even if you have a good point, if you interrupt people all day long, no one wants to listen to you. So yeah, looking at like the technology and the standards of what basically really stands out is that people still don't know. People still don't know what's happening because it's a growing conversation. You know, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash split the A/B test to see which one works. Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, you know, having a slight different approach to scalability issue. And looking at Bitcoin no longer wanting to serve people sending small transactions. That's kind of scary. And you know, XRP doing both. XRP doing both. You know, someone sent like $45 million in like 3 seconds. It cost nothing. I saw that on Twitter yesterday. Someone tweeted it or posted it or something. XRP, $45 million, zero time at all, and it costs nothing. And you know, no one's even talking about that. Like, let me on stage, in between Roger Ver and whatever his name is, the CEO of Blockstream, and let's start talking. Let's start chatting about Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and XRP. Where is XRP? So Mo says, check your Twitter. I sent you good news. All right, let's check my Twitter. I like this Mo guy. Let's see what he sent us today on the Twitter. Oh, okay. I also put up, if you guys did not realize, because you don't follow me on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you should. But I put up this poll. What's the highest you could see XRP being worth? 887 votes. We only got 2 days left. So go retweet this bad boy. And let's see how high people think XRP is going to go. Also, I made this tweet because I was just like thinking like, man, what's going on with this Bitcoin Cash thing? 53% of people still supporting Bitcoin over Bitcoin Cash. Which one is the true Bitcoin? I thought this was an interesting question to look at because even though I do support the ideas of Bitcoin Cash, even though I do support the code changes of Bitcoin Cash, Roger Ver is such a horrible, horrible, horrible icon or a horrible spokesperson for Bitcoin Cash. It really just makes me support Bitcoin more. And even though I know Lightning Network's trash, and I know off-chain transactions are not smart, and I know that Bitcoin has given up being useful for small transactions, even though all those things are true, I still can't find myself putting more support in Bitcoin Cash because Roger Ver is a maniac, and also just because we are already here. We're here right now in this moment. If you want to change Bitcoin, like, can we just combine them? Can we just put them back? Can we put them back together? Can we just put Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin back together, guys? It's like Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. I like the ideas of Bitcoin Cash, but Bitcoin's the one that's paired to all the exchanges. It's the one that all the networks are paired to. It's the one that all the fiat pairings are through. You know, like, so I don't know, guys. I don't know. So I put that up. What did you tweet at me? What did you tweet at me, Mo? Check your Twitter. U.S. Congress calls digital currencies the future of money. Is this the article you sent me? U.S. Congress calls digital currencies the future of money ahead of key hearing. The U.S. House of Representatives is giving Bitcoin and cryptocurrency a big boost by labeling digital currencies the future of money ahead of a hearing on Capitol Hill. This is a very cool article. It's actually a little bit old. Even though this just came out 3 days ago, the news that they're referencing is actually a few days old. It happened back in March, what they're talking about. But it is good. It's really cool. The interesting thing, too, is that they don't really specify too much. You know, they leave it pretty open. But it is exciting to at least hear this come from Congress. So in March, Congress released a joint economic report praising Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. The massive document dedicated an entire chapter to crypto, noting that blockchain looks like a new internet and cryptocurrencies could outshine government fiat. So them recognizing that right away is a big deal. It's a big deal because, well, one, for the first time, no one's ever been given an opportunity to buy out of a nation fiat before, and now that people have been given that opportunity, I'm sure governments are not very excited. They're probably panicked. That's possibly, the only reason that they really look at joining this army is because it's going to benefit them. They don't want to get left behind, is the reality of it. Exactly. G-Man Crypto is right. They only want to make money. They only want to figure out how to basically allow you to trade between their currencies to make more money. Basically, it's just like any other business. They're trying to stay relevant. They're trying to make money. So no big deal. At Intravision, you sold all your XLM, and then Coinbase announced they may add XLM. What a life. What a life. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking, like, is it ever good to sell all of anything? Like, unless it's a complete scam, unless it's a complete trashy coin, is it ever good to sell all of anything? Maybe if you buy XRP, it is. Maybe if you buy XRP, then yes. It's hard. It's hard to choose. Like, you never know what is going to happen in 3 years, and 4 years, and 5 years. Looking at the teams that stay together, the teams that really stay and innovate and keep working. We don't know in 10 years who that's going to be and who will really be the marathon runner. Obviously, we know XRP is one of the strongest candidates in the field. And also looking at just the potential of their team, always really a strong move for XRP. So I can support that decision, Intra. I can support that decision. That's one that I personally could have made as well. And you never know whenever you look at a coin and you're like, sometimes you look at some coins and you're like, I don't even want XLM. Like, XLM could go to $100 a coin. I don't even care. I ain't supporting Jeb doing nothing. And honestly, Intra, we'll do a video later. I think Alex might have just done a video about this. I haven't watched it yet, but I saw him post a video about Jed, or whatever, and Stellar. Maybe he's referencing a Medium article that I've referenced in the past. Maybe he's not, but the Medium article does a really good job breaking down why XLM is kind of shady, and they got some issues. So don't feel bad about that one. So that's about the end of the articles. Let's look at you guys' questions. Let's talk to you guys for a minute. We were just chatting with Intravision about XLM, and he's all in on XRP. Most of us are all in on XRP. Most of us are pretty all in. I mean, I might have like a few dollars in some other coins, but I definitely rebalance mostly into XRP all the time. Especially looking at Codius and XRP. Someone asked me yesterday, what other coins are you excited about? And it's like, well, I was actually thinking 2 days ago, I was looking at referencing making a new coin video, and then sometimes I find coins, I find a new coin, and I'm like, this looks really strong, it has a good team, and I look at it comparatively to the possibilities of XRP and Codius, and then the coin loses relevancy. It loses relevancy because it's going to end up costing, people will spend more money and have more issues using these other standalone coins than if they would just use XRP with Codius. And so looking at that, it's going to be a moment before people realize, oh, wait, this coin that I used to think was really awesome and had a really strong use case, it actually is a more expensive version of just pairing XRP to Codius. So that's going to happen a lot. That's going to happen a lot. And looking at like what coins actually even serve a use case and can actually be paired interoperably with XRP or Codius is a better question. What do they bring to the market? What do they bring to the space? With a young market, it's better to hold and believe in the company. It's going to be a bumpy ride, period. Dean has a good point. Dean is 100% correct. He has a good point that it's a young market, so it's hard to say for sure where we're going to be in 5 or 10 years, and it's going to be a bumpy ride either way. So definitely just buy some nice cushions to put under your rump and hold on. Buckle in and hold on. Because it's a very young market, and so you really don't know. A lot could happen still. LTC buying banks. Litecoin. Litecoin bought 10% of the Weege Bank, which someone in, where was that? Switzerland? Or where someone commented that lives in that state, in that nation, and they were like, Weege is a credit card company. Or they're a credit issuance, not really a bank. But I'm not going to take it away from them. They can have a bank. 10% of the bank it is. XRP 1000 is right. XRP will be very lonely on the moon. The rest of the coins don't have the gas to get there. And that's true. That's very true. Looking at a lot of coins, they don't have a use case after you look at XRP and Codius. XRP and Codius, again, showing the possibilities of their interoperability and their open programming languages, really looking super strong comparatively to everything else in the space. It's just really insane that the level of education is not that high around it. And that's why XRP's being given away, or Ripple Labs giving away XRP to universities around the world is probably one of the smartest things you could do. Handing it out to, because you know those projects, you know those professors, they're going to tell them, like, build me a working project for your, for your thesis or whatever. And they will, they'll build out a company. I was talking to a guy the other day when I was flying back from Ireland. I was talking to a guy that's an engineer. He's a biometric engineer, and they're talking about developing something that basically gives blood readouts or biometric readouts for people, and it was very complicated. The whole thing was very complicated. But he's in uni still. His professor and his team are all in uni, and his professor and his team launched a company together. It's a real company. It's an actual company in the world providing real solutions to people, and businesses are shopping them. Businesses are headhunting to acquire their company from the university project space or whatever, incubator. From the university incubator, they're looking at acquiring some projects, and that's really smart. Ripple Labs looking at giving away XRP to universities around the world to incentivize them to really start these incubator projects, to look at, wait, XRP and Codius does remove all of 90% of the other tokens that people are looking at using. And that's dangerous, Exactly, yeah. I know. I agree. Dean, I agree 100%. Looking at IOTA and EOS, and people really, I think it's really come down to once you make a decision, it's that I need to think of a quick phrase to remind everyone when I'm thinking of this, but thinking of that psychological switch, like that psychological switch, you're in neutral, you're literally in neutral when you haven't decided, and then some indicator shows up and it makes you heavily think this, like your choice switch flips one direction, and then that direction usually, the catalyst of that is their purchase. They purchased a bunch of some token, so they immediately, their psychological choice switch went to yes, this token's amazing because I just put $10,000 into it. And that's part of their reassurance, the compounding confidence of their choice. So yeah, it's going to be hard to convince people like EOS and IOTA supporters to look at the reality of the flaws in their ledgers because they've already decided this one's great. The catalyst of information that they'll need to change their mind is much greater than the initial catalyst for them to make the first choice. And that's important, I think. Looking at education is number one. Education's number one. And especially, I do marketing for Front Porch Realty, and marketing in general is education. Telling the consumer how they use something, telling the consumer how to use it, why it's beneficial, why it saves you money. And in this case, XRP and Codius, the consumers that they're looking for are the developers. The consumers and the people that they're really trying to pull in are, I think, the developers that want to build out on top of these platforms, build out on top of these protocols. So there's definitely a long road ahead of us. And honestly, of course, because my own money's in XRP, I am an XRP supporter. But I continually do look for, I like to play devil's advocate. I like to play my own devil's advocate because I want to make sure that I'm informed about the reality of this space. So I do often go and look, like, what's the possibility of this to fail? What possibilities could this fail entirely? How could XRP not be used? How could XRP be left behind in the crypto space? And that's actually one of the next videos I want to do. I'm going to call it XRP hate. Because there's a lot of people that just hate XRP for no reason at all. They hate XRP just because they've been told to. They hate XRP because they heard it's a banker coin. They hate XRP because their friends hate it. They hate XRP because They saw someone talk bad about it. I don't even know. I don't even know. That's the next video we're going to do. We're going to talk about XRP hate, because there's a lot of XRP hate out there, and I don't want to give it attention, but I'm going to make fun of it. I'm going to make fun of it. Because a lot of that comes from misinformation. A lot of that comes from people just not understanding what's happening. And reality is basically that everyone's going to decide for themselves. You know, like, everyone is going to decide for themselves. You never want to argue with a fool, because an onlooker can't tell the two of you apart. That's right. It's a great little quote. Never argue with a fool, because an onlooker will not be able to tell the two of you apart. The idea here is that, you know, if someone isn't going to listen and have a conversation, don't even worry about it. Don't waste your time. Another great little quote from the Tao Te Ching: "He who believes in himself doesn't need to convince others." You know, imagine Warren Buffett when he was buying up. He was buying up. I forget what it was. Let's go look really quick before we finish the video. Visual Capitalist has a cool thing, like the life of Warren Buffett. And there was a time in his life when he was buying up something. He was buying up something that nobody believed in. And they were like, this is dumb. And that was actually one of the best moments. So look, here's a quick little run through the Warren Buffett early years. So Warren Buffett, I know he's come out against crypto, but he's not really against it. He's just teasing. So where was it? So look at this. He bought 3 shares of City Services for $38. For $38 each. The share price promptly dropped. So it dropped right away. It dropped like over $12, and he bought more. And then it went up to $40. He sold. He got out early, and it made a small profit, and then it went up to 202. It went up to 202. So he lost money. He actually didn't get that full return. He could have made a lot more money if he was patient, basically. A lot more money if he was patient. So that was one of the first lessons he learned. One of the first lessons he learned about not selling early. And there was another moment when there's another moment in his life when he basically started buying into a company as it was failing, and he kept buying into it because he knew it was a smart move, and it ended up turning around, and it made him so much money. He just kept buying into it because he knew that it was potentially a smart investment. And I'm trying to find where that was. It was in one of these Visual Capitalist articles. Sorry if I'm just burning through these. I don't know exactly where it was, but so I remember reading about it specifically at one point, and what website is this? This is Visual Capitalist. This is one of my favorite websites. I reference this website probably all the time. I reference this site all the time because it does such a great job of visualizing data. And I dropped the link right there. You can go look at this exact one if you want. This is a really cool website. It has a lot of different visualized data articles on here, but one of the ones I found that I liked the most was these ones about Warren Buffett. I can't find it specifically, but there's a moment in his life when he kept buying into a company that was failing because he knew it had potential. He knew that it had a really, really, really strong use case in the market, and he potentially made a lot of money just from that position, just from that moment that he spotted something before everyone else did. And referencing David Schwartz saying too, like if you expect something to go up times 100, then you shouldn't be surprised that no one's there yet. Because for it to go up times 100 means that you need to be there first, and then a bunch of people need to come and show interest in it after that. So if we're sitting here wondering like why no one's interested in XRP yet, it's probably because we still have that 100x to run through. 100x to run through would be super chill. That would put us, like $40 per XRP. That'd be about 600 billion inflow. And looking earlier in this live stream, we know where that's going to come from. So that's pretty much basics. Basics. What are you guys talking about? I think I stepped away from the conversation for a minute. They hate XRP because it's a threat. Who buys a bank and gives it away? Nice shades. Thank you. Thank you. Litecoin is what you're calling out. Honestly, I think Litecoin is a little bit underappreciated as well too. I do actually think Litecoin might be undervalued right now. Whoever is talking about that, Andrew, I think, is talking about that. Litecoin does seem pretty undervalued. I think the team itself is really strong, and it has a pretty strong use case, but it doesn't look like they have a lot of social interest right now. So like this social aspect is not very strong. They hate XRP because it's a threat. That's why we ignore them and target 95% of the public that's never heard of XRP. Spread the standard. Go and tell them how amazing this tech is. Don't shill. Just give them facts. Spread the standard. Sean is right. He is 100% correct. That's why we do not basically ignore, we ignore the haters and we focus on the people we're trying to educate. Trying to educate people is probably one of the hardest parts, because in order for someone to listen to you, first they have to want to listen to you. When XRP gets to $100 or $300 or more, what is the best exit strategy? Exchanges like Coinbase have a $100,000 limit per week. How would you get your money out quickly? That's a good question too. I don't know if I would get my money out per se if it hit $300 in a year. I think that I'd probably hold it a lot longer. If it hits $300 in the next 3 years and it has like a 30-year shelf life, then I think you probably hold it longer than that for more returns. Also, I don't think that we'll have those kind of issues with the exchange limits at that point. I think that we'll be past that, beyond that. The reality too that you'll have it paired to an Amex card or something. You can just send the XRP daily. You can send like a daily pool to your card for daily spending, and then you'll hold or keep your other XRP in your hardware wallet, in your cold wallet, off the exchange or whatever. So there obviously would be some reality to, like, if it hits an all-time high, how would you sell it at that price? And the more you hold, the less likely you'll get that price. You'll start just getting whatever price you can. And I don't know if the goal would be to sell out entirely. Looking at, like, inside of our lifetime, nation-state fiats have lost 80% of their value inside of our lifetime. So if you sell out and then 40 years later, you lost 80% of the value because you're holding fiat, and maybe you don't want to sell out. Maybe you don't want to sell out at all. Maybe you just sell what you need at the moment is possibly how that would work. No doubt. What are you wearing, and where can I get one? What am I wearing? They're called blue blockers. They block blue light from screens. I normally wear them at night before I'm going to go to bed, and I just happened to put them on the other day during a live stream, and people liked them, so I keep putting them on. They block blue light from your screens. It's basically Your screen sends blue light through your eyeballs to your neuroreceptors. It tells your body it's daylight out and you wake up. And in reality, you're late at night watching TV, you're looking at your screens, you put this on, it blocks blue light, it helps you fall asleep earlier. That's what they are. You guys want a link to that, is what you're telling me? Here's a link to buy blue blockers on Amazon. There you go. That's how you can get some blue blockers on Amazon. Why don't you wear headphones like Alex? That's a good question. Is it a good question? I don't know. I just said it's a good question. I don't know if it actually is. I can wear headphones. Does this make you feel better? How's that? How's this? Is this better? Are we feeling good now? You mean to put a link to headphones too? I can put a link to these bad boys. I don't normally wear headphones because the sound is coming out of my computer, and then I think the microphone on the computer is picking it up. I'm not sure how that works. I like to hear the text-to-speech, so the text-to-speech is potentially funny. I could put my headphones on, but I don't know if you guys would hear it. I can try that next time. It does cut down on your eye strain if you're on the computer all day. That's true. It does. Did you really pay $200 for those glasses? They shouldn't be $200. Did I put a link for a $200 pair? Dude, they're like $2. Okay, don't buy those ones. What is this? $200? They're like $3 glasses. Yeah, don't buy that one. It's out. They're out of those. Yeah, don't buy those. Let's get a different pair for you guys. There's another one. Hold on one moment. Hold on one moment. The ones right there, those are actually the ones that I wear at night. I do like them. They're very cool. Let me find these other ones. Where's some other ones? Okay, these ones are $16. The ones I bought were like $8. But those ones are 16, and they're just like the ones I bought for $8. So don't spend $200 on these. They do help a lot. They do block blue light, and I do really like them. They do help me fall asleep. I do use mouth tape at night with these. I have a video on my channel about it if you're really wondering about my mouth tape and my blue blockers. So yeah, there's some blue blockers. They do help cut down on eye strain. And we are very early on into the adoption of cryptocurrencies. So still just like waiting for people to be informed and understand the developing technology. I don't usually try to convince people to buy tokens because I think they should do that on their own. I just like to keep people informed. So I don't normally tell people. I might tell like people on the internet, and I'd be like, "These are amazing," but like when I'm talking to people in real life, I try to tell people. I don't ever say you should do anything. I don't ever say you should do anything. I just like to tell them what I'm doing, And if they want to do their own research and follow suit, that's fine. Litecoin's main use case plug was pulled as an utter failure. I did see that, but I don't think that's not necessarily the final nail in the coffin for them. They could potentially do something still. I'm not making excuses for them, but I do think that they've definitely fallen behind as far as people paying attention to them. Yeah, people don't even understand. Dean's right. People don't understand the emergence of a international liquidity pool, and that's really strong, honestly. The idea that we'll have an international liquidity pool is huge. It's huge for sure. Chris, yes, I can do a backflip. Yes, I can do backflips. Mouth tape, yes. Mouth tape, it's basically when you're sleeping at night. You can watch my video on my channel. I have a whole video about it. It's you can see me being goofy and putting on mouth tape. Basically, at night when you're sleeping, most of the time we do shallow breathing. And so you subconsciously breathe through your mouth like, I don't know. I was a light sleeper. I was a restless sleeper. I started putting mouth tape on. It basically forces you to breathe through your nose. The nose breathing helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps aid the body in rest and digest. And it definitely took some reprogramming. It took some time for me to program myself to slow down my breathing and feel comfortable breathing through my nose. I have a deviated septum too, so one of my sides is smaller. It's hard to breathe through my nose, but if I can do it, I know you can. It helps me get better night's sleep, and I'm actually programmed now. As soon as I put my blue blockers on and my mouth tape, in about a minute, I'm like, I'm out. So that's about it. Look at the news for XRP, them beefing up their legal team. One of the bigger things for today, looking at the SA Purple, South African financial company Purple, addition of 2 cryptocurrencies, and also looking at the BlackRock Eyes Bitcoin futures market reacts. Looking at all that going together into another day of the lull in between when the next bull run or bear drop happens. People are saying that this is the bottom, and I'm reluctant to agree. No, I do not sleep with them on. I keep them on if I'm on my phone, and then I fall asleep. I take them off. After I fall asleep, I take them off. That's right. I don't know if I can call this a bottom. I can't say for sure. We're still below 300 billion. We still had Tether's last 250 million print happen, and we haven't seen really a real correction since then. So I'm not sure. I'd love to say this is the bottom and we're going to go back up. We see a lot of strong resistance lines around these numbers. We do see possibly in the next 3 or 4 days there is a time resistance push, and we'll see what that happens moving forward. So that's all we're going to do for the news today. We ran way over. It's 1:30. We got the bearable Y589 video coming later. It's got some good classics like, whoa, that was loud. We got some good classic edits going in if you guys are into that. Look out for that coming out later. Thanks for joining us today with the news. I appreciate all you guys that super chatted and supported. It means a lot. And I'll post 2 videos today. The bearable Y589 and then the Codius Stefan Thomas is just a reference that we're going to keep referencing back to, and we'll make some more videos talking about Codius and XRP. That's about all we're going to do for today. Cheers. Thanks a bunch. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day until I see you next time. I will check your DM, KK. I'll check your DMs for sure. So farewell. Thanks a bunch. Cheers. I wish you the best of days, the best of Mondays. Farewell. Have a great day until I see you next time.